Hello, guys. This is Alex Julian, or Aloysius Zanderman here, formerly known as Game Universo, but now known as Chipster Apple. And tonight I will be talking about a restaurant called Toppers, which is not to be confused with the bigger chain somewhere in the east. This is a Toppers pizza chain, an individual one located around the Ventura County and Santa Clarita regions. So this is for the local California chain. And I will be reviewing my pastrami sandwich, my anchovies pizza, and the general atmosphere, including the mixology choices of the Coca Cola Choice Red Machines. And I give a toast to that and a toast to the Pacific Pride with notion of anchovies pizza and the difficulty of getting enough fish on our plate to match with the chicken. And I give a toast to that. Diet Pepsi. Now, just so you want to know, yes, Pepsi Zero does taste different than Diet Pepsi, and Coca Cola Zero does taste different than Diet Coke. It does. It has to do with the formula, and it has to do with the generation gaps of diet products and zero products. Now, obviously, when it comes to the world we live in, um, diets do not always work. They do not. At times, we just have to be zero with our approach, and therefore, the word zero is a metaphor. There was even that famous song by Elton John called Too Low for Zero, which is about negativity where it lands. And now, definitely with Topper's Pizza Restaurant, you are likely to hear a lot of music in the lobby where everybody is eating. And just when me and my brother Nathan and I were having a delightful conversation about the underratedness or the lack of appreciation for anchovies pizza. All of a sudden, out of the blue, a selection from Jimmy Buffett's classic album called Barometer Soup was playing in the background. And you probably know some of the lyrics already from that classic Jimmy Buffett album in case you are interested in island music. Come along, let's have some fun. The hard work has been done. We'll barrel roll into the sun just for starters. Remember those lyrics? Well, definitely Barometer Soup was a good 1990s album by Jimmy Buffett, and it included even his famous hit from that album called Mexico. Oh, Mexico, do 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 do. Perfect album to play while I'm enjoying my anchovies pizza and talking to Dad and Ethan about the delight of pineapple juice and olives and such with my pizza. Now, I did actually originally ask for green peppers on my pizza with the anchovies, but they put in pineapple by mistake. And I did not ask for pineapple when I was ordering, so okay. I would remove a star for that reason with Topper's Pizza Chain because it is important to get orders right and to dial up orders correctly. We cannot always rely on robots and machines to fix accuracies for us. Um, uh, Lack of appreciation for machines is related to the artificial intelligence movement, the AI movement, the stupid, retarded movement that says, oh, machines know everything, and oh, with machines we could recreate the galaxy, and that is absolutely uh, bullshit. And it is because of machines that humans at times do fool around too much and not take responsibilities into their own measures. But then again, I mean, just with the general atmosphere of music in the Topper's Pizza restaurant lobby, the general music would just be delightful to hear, and it would be good, and with a thud, with a quake, with um, thunderous results. And it does get really intense and rocky with the music. Um, Now, let's think about this a little bit while I drink my Diet Pepsi here. And just so you know, uh, Diet Pepsi is in the silver container, and Pepsi Zero is in the black container. And Pepsi Zero is not to be confused with Pepsi Max uh, or Pepsi One. Pepsi Max and Pepsi One were limited time sodas that came and went in our soda regions. So let's give a toast and think about it carefully. Uh, yep. Now you're probably wondering, if you're watching this, what are anchovies? Good question. I had to read up on Wikipedia myself to figure out what anchovies are. And anchovies are not always very popular of a choice of pizza topping for pizza, and that is because fishing is very difficult to do. It is very difficult to fish for fish, especially with the storms that take place, with the piracy that exists, with pirates and sailors, and um, it it does get tricky. It does. And anchovies can be small, and anchovies can be maybe not giant, but jumbo, if that makes sense. And there could be different regions of anchovies, like anchovies from the east, anchovies from the west. Um, and definitely, I think with Topper's Pizza, with the remark of anchovies for their pizza, I do find the anchovies to be a bit of a bore at the Topper's Pizza chain. I mean, yes, it was a little bit salty, a little bit juicy with the pineapple, a little bit of bitter with the mushrooms. But definitely, it's not the best tasting anchovies I've had. Um, and I'm not sure if it's because of the lack of seasoning. I think it's possible there's lack of seasoning with their anchovies pizza. And definitely the workers at Topper's Pizza do not always get orders correct. So, yeah, I mean, stars need to go down for that reason. And the pastrami sandwich, the pastrami sandwich was very good. It had a good amount of meat, a good amount of protein, a good amount of. Um, I'm trying to remember if it had cheese or not. Well, definitely, if there was any cheese, it was forgettable. So, yeah, now that I think about it, yeah, with that Topper's meal, it wasn't really all that good or gourmet. I was hoping for something gourmet, something that could taste like California Pizza Kitchen, something that could taste like numero uno. But as my family can tell you from restaurant experiences, um, many of the great restaurants in California have gone extinct. These were restaurants that were successful, that had great taste, gourmet taste even, excellent service, excellent atmosphere, excellent buildings, excellent chairs and seats and tables, excellent food, but economics changed, times changed, and they just went away. And politics does not explain it. Political science. Political science and those kinds of things cannot explain it because we would be assuming that customers have politics in their mind all the time in the first place. But that's not necessarily true. I'll tell you why. Let me give it a sip here. Now think about the delight of a soda, or the delight of a candy cane, or the delight of cheesecake, or the delight of salads. Does it get political? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Political science can only deal with any artistic work that is relative to the possibilities around us. It Political science cannot explain the kind of art that is for the impossible. You probably remember that Jim Henson classic with that classic show called The Christmas Toy, where the toys were jumping around in the bedroom and they were singing, "Try the impossible, try the incredible, mm-hmm. Try the impossible." Remember that song? Well, the problem with that is in political science and politics, it's impossible to try the impossible. Because in political science, politics is only for the possible. And that is often why conservative fanatics do not eat with liberal fanatics, and liberal fanatics do not eat with conservative fanatics. And that is because they lack understanding of other kinds of art in the world to appreciate connections that can exist for all human beings, as in to make sure that all lives matter. And political scientists are those kinds of people who would say that not all lives matter. Because actually, the truth is, um, it's actually more true to say in terms of political science and political philosophy that not all lives matter. Some lives matter, many do not. And that is because man, as in woman, man, human beings, make terrible choices at times and they waste their time. And a human being who wastes time obviously does not matter. And that's the political science of it. Yeah, but that sounds harsh, doesn't it? Um, Now, definitely, Topper's Pizza. I mean, don't let my negativity discourage you from going to the restaurant and trying it yourself. Their sandwiches are very respectable. Their pizza is very respectable, especially their barbecue chicken pizza. And they have great pepperoni and sausage pizza. I mean, Toppers has a good arcade there. They have references to the old West times of rodeo and cowboys and wranglers. Um, Definitely, Toppers has a place in history for the region. I just have to remark that, well, yeah, I mean, that may be, but they still got my order incorrect. And I mean, I don't know about you, but if someone had to cook an entire pizza the wrong way, and if you got a pizza that was wrong, but if you still do not mind the toppings, would you still be like me and eat it and not complain about it? Well, you probably would, because it takes a long time to cook a pizza. Sometimes we go to restaurants and we eat the wrong thing on purpose because we're busy and there are too many things going on in the world, and some mistakes are forgivable, and we just eat food that's there because we appreciate being in the restaurants, being in the places with our families. I know that's weird. I know that sounds very self centering, but so what can I say about the trip that I took to Santa Clarita for Toppers? Well, definitely this restaurant building for this Santa Clarita region of Toppers is similar to also the Oxnard location for Toppers. Toppers is a very popular choice of pizza for soccer teams, especially for baseball teams. Um, um, there's a lot of commotion going on for the Ventura County and Santa Clarita regions about having Toppers be there to support sports teams. And definitely, we have to remember that Jimmy Buffett, the author and musician of the Barometer Soup album, was himself the kind of guy who would live the life of a gypsy and would give fantastic fantasy like poetry as if like life depended on it enough to make fantasy or the impossibility the new reality. And definitely that's something we have to remember about Jimmy Buffett. And in fact, I think in some ways, Jimmy Buffett is the opposite of a cliche. Because even when he expressed cliches, he found ways to knock on the cliches to make them anti-cliche. Now, I don't know. Is it really good to be anti-cliche? As in, like, to always look for meaning out there? You know, to find meaning here and there? Meaning, 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 meaning. Now, definitely, there could be limits on how much meaning we can have with poetry, how much meaning we can have with literature, how much meaning we can have with music. Because eventually, the song is going to end, and there will be ongoing pursuits in life. I mean, just right here, I'm sitting here with my Diet Pepsi, and I got my Mexican flag hat on because I'm in total support of Baja California, because I think Baja California is like California enough to make me appreciate Mexico. And Baja California is a great place to go to for a vacation. Um, my big brother Evan has been to Mexico. He has actually traveled to Mexico. Do you know why in the political world um, people do not always get along? You know why? One of the reasons is because foreign languages get very spooky sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes. You know, it gets a little spooky when we refer to foreign languages, such as what that culture says there, and what that culture says there. And um, there could be disagreements on food, disagreements on culture, disagreements on ethnicity, such as what we would term as ethnicity. Um, what classics are, what authors to look for. So, for example, it's not a worldwide view that William Shakespeare is the greatest writer ever. Did you know that? Not everybody agrees that William Shakespeare is a great writer, especially Spanish literature experts, because Spanish literature has their own classic authors that were writing in Spanish. And also the truth is there could be classic works of literature that could fall out of use because of differences of foreign language, differences of dialect, differences of temperament, differences of taste, differences of food. Let's drink a little bit. Think about it with this toast. Now, what was soda invented for? Well, the mixology drink units, the Coca-Cola Red Machine boxes, have had hit and miss in the California regions. I would say for some restaurants like Toppers, the Coca-Cola Red Choice boxes were very successful in promoting mixology of drinks, but In other businesses, less busy businesses, these Coca-Cola red machine boxes were absolutely ruining their money making, especially in uh, less frequented businesses like Jack in the Box and Burger King. The Coca Cola red machine boxes totally destroyed Burger King here in Tehachapi because it's not always possible to have all of these drinks available from all over the world. There do have to be limits. There do have to be speed limits, if you will, on production. You know, so therefore, as a general rule, if leftover pizza from the microwave tastes better from cooking it in the microwave, then that means the original recipe of that pizza failed. That's a general rule I have. The original pizza, the pizza that was cooked in the restaurant, must be the best version of the pizza available. If you take the pizza home and cook it in the microwave later after refrigerating it, and if it tastes better, then that means whatever restaurant of the pizza, whatever pizza restaurant, did not properly cook the pizza. And that's the general truth I have for you tonight. And that does get into the ethics of cooking. Is it really ethical to cook food really fast? To tell you the truth, when I go to Jack in the Box and I order breakfast for all day, I give them enough time to cook my pizza. Not pizza, breakfast at Jack. And the same can be with a pizza restaurant. I give them enough time to cook my pizza. I do not want to be too demanding on speed because we have to remember a slogan from the Halloween movie, the classic horror Halloween movie. The slogan was "Speed kills," as in people could go too fast and kill themselves. So therefore, there do need to be speed limits on the cooking of food. And that is why In-N-Out is getting into trouble with certain cities about the traffic control problems of the cars in their drive-thrus, because In-N-Out is causing disorder by promising too much too quickly. I would probably even say, depending on the city, there probably should be no drive-through, really, for a restaurant. I think customers do need to learn to go into a restaurant when it is necessary to go into a restaurant and actually eat under the roof, as in to actually eat above the wet floors in the restaurants. It is important for customers to know when to actually eat inside the restaurant and enjoy the food naturally, as opposed to trying to speed rocket and nook fast food all over the place, because generally by then it doesn't really belong on the face. Well, that's the Carl's Jr. motto for you tonight, and with my review of Topper's Pizza for the Ventura County region and the Santa Clarita region. I give the Topper's chain 2 stars out of 5. It does need to improve a lot, and definitely it's not an absolute best choice of pizza. There are better pizza restaurants out there, and there does need to be improvement here and there, or else otherwise, I can find other places to eat more pizza and have more hunger, more thirst somewhere else. And I hope you guys take care and, don't freak out from my rating of 2 stars, okay? It just is with my honest restaurant reviewing as an honest restaurant reviewer to give what would be necessary for the production of the food. And you take care and happy holidays forthcoming.